This program is specifically designed to be viewed by adults and may be unsuitable for children under the age 17. Viewer discretion advised.
The materials provided in this presentation and any comments or information provided by the presenter are for educational purposes only, and nothing conveyed or provided should be considered legal, accounting, or tax advice. Please contact your own attorney, accountant, or tax professional with any specific questions you have related to the information provided that are legal, accounting, or tax nature. All copyrights and trademarks of images belong to their respective intellectual property owners and are used under fair use for educational purposes.
Labor and Income Inequality by Nathaniel Omar.
Hello and welcome, friends, family, and guests. Thank you for joining Community 2612 today for a short meeting. The meeting will last 5 to 10 minutes. The purpose of the meeting is to address labor and income inequality in the United States. Also, we will be tackling the great divide between those who work for themselves and others who work for someone else. We will talk about the stigmatism and the label others plaster on the back of entrepreneurs, but they go to work for one every single day. Let's get started. Today's meeting will cover 8 items: top-down management, Wall Street versus Main Street, predatory capitalism, personal labor and taxes, income, expenses, and savings. We will cover the predatory banking cartel and their advantageous asset pools, and we will look at some alternatives to that system through community economic organizations. Let's get started. Listen, Community 2612 single purpose is to create a Main Street lending facility for marginalized groups of people in the United States and territories, using a gifting platform to practice group economics. This is not just another job or multi-level marketing or some networking system that requires you to purchase inventory or have employees. You don't have to make no large upfront investment. You don't need a license or degree. You get an opportunity to work from home, part-time, full-time, at any time, and make some money and get some large returns. All you have to do is share an invitation for a quick conversation about economic elevation. That's it. Let's start by talking about top-down management. The current labor model is predatory, and it favors the top of the organization where large bonuses are paid and decisions are made. It takes advantage of the bottom of the organization that creates the revenue through labor productivity. Even though the work is being done, the top is constantly looking for ways to make more money. Here's how they do it. They start by outsourcing or exporting the labor to emerging markets in Latin America, Europe, Mexico, and Asia. Then they lay off domestic employees, or they go about eliminating departments, offices, and positions. Lastly, as we can see today, they have all these massive technology advancements that they've purchased in AI, which is artificial intelligence, business automation, robotic process automation, intelligent business management software, and machine learning. The worker today needs to wake up to see exactly what the top is doing so that they can prepare for the next steps in their future. Listen, I'm not against making money. I started out on the Chicago Board of Trade. I've worked in Wall Street for greater than 20 years. I'm the insider. The vast majority of the market is owned by the top 1%. The top 1% of earners own 52% of the stocks, bonds, and mutual funds on Wall Street. Meanwhile, Main Street is struggling and living check to check. Let's dive into the numbers. Before we deep dive, I want to preface the conversation around predatory capitalism. Predatory capitalism is bogus, and it is evil because of the impact it has on individuals, families, communities, and this nation. It puts the business versus the worker. It derives and creates poor work agreements. It taxes the income on the front end versus the back end. It creates this massive income inequality, lopsided wealth distribution. In fact, it creates a generational worker that creates an endless cycle of defeat. Listen, I get it. If you get laid off, furloughed, or impacted by a terminated position, department, office closure, I'm sure you would be excited if you got a call back for a full-time job working 40 hours a week for 52 weeks. You can get 2,000 hours of productivity. $19 an hour, $40,000 a year seems like a great deal, but only if you knew that the owner is only paying you 4 to 10% of revenue. Let's dig in to see how this $40,000 a year plays out in real life. In real life, 40,000 is not really 40,000 because you have front end taxation. Imagine if you're the head of household and no other income earner is there. You got your labor minus your income taxes, payroll taxes, and fringe benefits. That actually equals your net income. On average, your income taxes, payroll taxes, and fringe benefits are about 30% of your income. So you actually only take home $28,000. Income depletion happens very quickly in a head of household situation. As you can see in the illustration, net income minus your household expense ratio equals your savings. An individual taking home $28,000 a year minus an 85% expense ratio equals $4,200 a year left in savings. With $28,000 a year, your income gets depleted very quickly if you're the head of the household. You got your shelter, your utilities, you just got a new job, so you might need a new car, upgrade your car. Now you got car note and insurance, and then it spits out a savings. Look at the rent on average, $1,000, 500 in utilities, and the 500 car expense. That only leaves you $333 a month in savings. So let's take a look at how that works out. Well, $333 a month left over cover your food, your petrol, your clothes, and if you decide to go out and have a little fun. Probably not. Believe it or not, the situation gets even worse because not only is your employer predatory, but the banks that you bank with are predatory because each employee income is going to be direct deposited into a banking system. And this is how it works. The banking system says that, hey, listen, we'll store your money and we'll secure it and insure it for you, but we're not going to pay you any bank deposit yield. So you still don't even get any money in that situation. Then the bank takes the depositors' deposits and then they pool them together as one gigantic asset. Let's take a look at what they do with these assets. The banker is completely predatory. Let's say, for example, you made $1,000 deposit with the bank. The bank is not going to call you and ask you, can it borrow your money? But that, in fact, is what it does. It says, I'm going to secure it and insure it for you and store it for a fee. I'm not going to pay you any interest on it, but here's what I'm going to do as soon as you turn your back. The Wall Street banker takes your $1,000 to the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve accepts that deposit as collateral. Then the Federal Reserve, this is how money is created. Then the Federal Reserve takes that deposit and they 10x it off of your signature and security. The bank then makes securitized investments with that $10,000 that the Federal Reserve just gave it. And then the bank earns and pays investor income. But you don't get any. We believe that there's a better alternative to the current predatory system where it takes advantage of 90% of the workers. The bottom-up management approach is the right approach because it creates community economic leaders versus workers. Community economic organizations are ran by community leaders that generate community activity through gifting. We are a community economic organization. Our organization is designed for individuals and families and organizations. Our members make a one-time gift donation. One gift is the seed that produces 8 gifts from 8 different members in the organization. And the gifts are paid out every 28 days or 4 cycles. Participation in our community economic organization leads to gifts. These group donations lead to excess gifts. Here's a line chart illustrating excess gifts. Each member will become a community leader, and they will receive 8 times the amount of the original donation. Initial donations range from $25 to $500, with individual distributions ranging from $200 to $4,000 that are distributed every 28 days or 4 cycles, whichever one comes first. Our gifting platform is open to large donors as well. Their initial donations range from $600 to $2,000, with distributions of $4,800 to $16,000 that are distributed every 28 days or 4 cycles, whichever one comes first. Here's another illustration just to hammer the point home. So total gifts minus the donation equals an excess gift. So let's say, for instance, you donated $200. Your total gifts will equal $1,600, which is 8 times the original amount, and your excess gift is $1,400. As mentioned earlier, distributions occur every 28 days or on the 4th cycle, whichever one comes first. With the community economic organization, 1, you receive gifts to help reduce your expenses and increase your capacity to generate wealth, and then you repeat the participation process again. When you join our community, you can join as a small or large donor. It's really up to you. Here are some places where you can find your initial donation. You can find it in checking, savings, or money market accounts. You can find it in whole life insurance policies. You can find it in fixed index annuities. You can find it in your credit cards. You can find it in CDs and government bonds. You can find it in your retirement accounts. You can find it in stock equity gains, dividend payments. Some even go as far as borrowing it from a friend or pawning something. These are just some examples or recommendations that you can utilize for your initial donation. Thank you for taking this educational journey with me today. Until next time, this is Nathaniel Omar, signing off.
For attending this short informational meeting. We would be honored if you joined our community today. To join a community, we need to get you registered. Please text 520-352-9977. Again, please text 520-352-9977. Include in the text your first and last name and the name of the person who referred you. And please spread the message to your family and friends. And I leave you by saying, thank you and have a wonderful day from Community 2612.